Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel and welcome to 5 things we learned in round 4 against Richmond. 7 points, 60 to 67, we got the win. These are the 5 things that I learned at least watching the game. Put your 5 things in the comments as well. Number 1, we still can't play 4-quarter football. We still can't play a full game consistently. We didn't do it the week before. We certainly didn't do it on the weekend. It was one of the worst first halves I've watched. Particularly that first quarter was some of the most uninteresting football, unimaginative football I've ever watched. Credit to the boys. They did come out after half-time and turn it around, but we can't be doing that against a good team. We were lucky that we were only 22 points down against Richmond at half-time. It could have been much worse. And if we deliver something like that to the Giants on the weekend, they're not going to keep the door open, and we're definitely not going to be knocking it down, that's for sure. Number 2, receptive to feedback. So a positive, it's good to see that Ross Lyon and the team, credit to them as well, to take what he said on board at halftime and come out guns blazing and completely change the game. It wasn't a gradual improvement throughout the game. It was literally a flick of the switch. We came out, we played Saints footy, and we got the job done. So it's really good to see that we're not waiting until the end of the game to start thinking about things and how it could have improved. He knew at halftime what he needed to do, and the boys took it on board. Apparently in the press conference, he did mention they were very upset with the first half, and they really actively wanted to change it, and they did. They didn't just say they wanted to and didn't do it. They said they wanted to and they executed it and they did it. So credit to them there. They were receptive to feedback. That's a great sign. Number 3, defense is still rock solid. Despite the last couple of weeks, despite being 2-2, we are still only conceding on average 71 points per game, which is 3rd best in the AFL. So the back line is consistent. It is doing its job every single week. Regardless of whether individual players are out of form, the collective itself is still holding us in very good stead. We just need to start scoring more, and that's when games will hopefully become a lot easier. Number 4, and this might be controversial for people, but I think Max King is wasted up the ground. I do not like it when I see the best of Max King 90 metres from goal. I know that people like to see Max King with his work rate, and he's getting up the ground and he's taking marks, but we've got Membry who's got a massive tank, we've got Sharman who was playing wing yesterday for parts of the game, and Caminiti. Why is our number 1 A-grade asset, who we want to win a Coleman, is the furthest forward from the damn goals? I don't want to see him winning one-on-ones on the wing. I want him to mark the ball in the goal square and kick truly and have 4 kicks for 4 goals per game. That's what I want from Max King. He is the guy that finishes the work. I do not want to see him starting the work. I know this might be controversial and it's going to piss a few people off, but at the end of the day, if we ever want to see Max King win a Coleman and to see our team challenge, it's not when Max King's up the ground. It's when he's kicking on average 3 to 4 goals per game. And there's no point him being up the ground and pushing back and marking it 45 out on a tight angle like yesterday. He's not going to kick those. He's going to miss 60%, 70% of those. I want to see him deep in the forward line, leading out from the square, and most of his marks being within 30 to 40 slight angle. That's what we want from Max King, and that's where we're going to get the most of him, and that's where I think we're going to benefit most as a team. Number 5, just to end it on a good note, winning ugly is still winning. We've taken the 4 points, regardless of whether it was perfect or not. And by no means was that perfect. It was shocking at times. But we got the job done. And at this point in the season, we're 2-2. We're not playing our best. Last year, at this point, we were 4-0. We went 4-1. If we win on the weekend, as unlikely as that might be against a very good team in the Giants, we will only be 1 loss off the same point last year. So when we put it into perspective, considering we've played Geelong and Geelong, Collingwood, we've played Richmond on neutral ground, we've played Essendon, we shouldn't have lost that game. We've had some difficult matchups already, and it's only going to follow with Giants, Bulldogs and Port in the next 3. It's not an easy draw, but if we can come through that the other side with the run we've got in the back end of the season, things are looking good. But you can't always win pretty. Sometimes it's just going to be get the job done. You look at Collingwood against Hawthorn. It wasn't pretty, but they won. You know, This is what you need to do. The Giants, for the most part, were okay against the Suns. The Suns gave them a game, and then they got away. It probably wasn't all one-way traffic. That's just not AFL football these days. Momentum swings. You just got to hit the ground running when you get that momentum. And we did it this week. We didn't do it last week. So those are my 5 points. Number 1, we still can't play 4 quarters. Number 2, receptive to feedback. Number 3, defense is still rock solid. Number 4, and controversially, I think Max King is wasted up the ground. And number 5, winning ugly is still winning. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Give me your 5 that you learned on the weekend. Put it in the comments. Let's create a discussion. And yeah, I'll see you next week after round 5 when we take on the Giants. As always, go you mighty Saints. See you guys.